Welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. He is Rogers. I am Patrick. Hope everyone's having a great day. We're pleased to welcome in a guy who's, he's having himself a nice little run through the spring and into the summer. He is the voice of the Oklahoma Sooners, and he also hosts his own radio show. Does that sound familiar, Rogers? He's just doing it at a slightly higher level than I am. He is Toby Rowland, a good friend. T-Row, what's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing good. Things are going well here in Omaha.
Yeah,
so,
not bad, right? Not bad.
This is fun, and I'm getting to talk to my buddy Patrick.
Hey,
so it's even better.
I mean, what could be greater than that? Certainly nothing could be. Hey, look, this is, you and Ole Miss kind of have shared, OU and Ole Miss have kind of shared a similar trajectory. Kind of started slow. Things looked rough. Then you get red hot late. And then you end up in the tournament. You have to go on the road a bunch, and you end up making your way to Omaha. Now you guys are in the championship series, and Ole Miss trying to make their way into the championship series. Either way, it's going to be two unseeded teams that have gotten there. Tell me about how this season has gone and kind of the remarkable run and streak that you guys have gotten on late in the year.
Yeah, Oklahoma was picked sixth in the Big 12 preseason poll. There's 9 teams that play baseball in the Big 12. Didn't make the tournament the last couple of years, and didn't really know exactly what they had coming into this season. They had a couple of exciting pieces coming back, and Peyton Graham and Tanner Treadaway and Jake Bennett, but, hadn't done much the last couple of years. And really spun their wheels the first couple of months of the season. They were playing okay ball. It looked like maybe this would be a team that would go to the NCAA tournament. But about midway through the season, they punched the gas. They won their last 5 Big 12 series, including road series at TCU and at Texas Tech, which are very tough places to win. So they went hot into the Big 12 tournament, swept through that, won all 4 games, including the championship game against Texas, and really thought they had worked their way into a position at that point to perhaps be a regional host. But the committee sent them on the road as a 2 seed to Gainesville, Florida. Won there, won a couple of games from the Gators, and made it out of Gainesville. Then had to go to Blacksburg, Virginia, and Virginia Tech was the number 4 national seed, and won 2 out of 3 there to get to Omaha. And that was amazing. I mean, that in and of itself was an amazing run for this team to get to Omaha. But, man, they have showed up here in Nebraska and looked completely unfazed. Haven't been to Omaha in 12 years in the program, and they play like they've been here every year. So they played fantastic baseball. Beat Texas A&M a couple of times to get into the championship series, and we'll see. I mean, they're pitching it lights out. Seems like 1 through 9 in their lineup is hot right now. They got a closer that's been slamming the door on everybody. So, I think they got a shot. Well,
when you lose to Northwestern State, you obviously think your season is ended at that point back at Globe Life Field. Funny thing is, you and I run into each other, and I wasn't even doing the game. I was just there. I just ran over there to come and watch the last game.
To take selfies.
Yeah, basically I just was there to go and take – I wanted to be down on the field and check out the new stadium for the Rangers, so I was just over there looking at the stadium. My boy Pugh was doing the game, and I didn't expect you to be there because you're in the middle of basketball season. It's still early in the baseball year, and you show up. I'm like, holy cow, man! We got we got everybody, got all the big wigs in here. So it was a big series. You were there, so that's awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
No, it was great. But, and it also goes to show you, and Pugh was telling me, look, this guy wasn't here. That guy wasn't playing. You had a kid that was hitting but hadn't started pitching yet, Horton. So, things just, it's amazing how a team can change over the course of a season, because sometimes you get a group that comes in and you're like, well, this is, I know that 7 of the 9 are going to be in the lineup every single day. And while you do have a core of, 4 or 5 guys that you knew would be in the lineup, it is amazing how much things changed as your season progressed.
There's no doubt about that. And there was about a 2-week span right in the middle of the season where 4 or 5 different things happened that changed the trajectory of the year. Number one, the leadoff man, John Spikerman, got healthy.
Mm-hmm.
This is a true freshman, did not play in that series early in the year.
Right.
I had no idea who he was, Patrick. They put him into a game for a pinch hit appearance in Stillwater, and I said, "Who's this guy?" I hadn't seen him all year. I had to look up the roster. John Spikerman, who is it? He's been unbelievable. He was injured with a bad back first half of the season. Wallace Clark hadn't played all year. They insert him into the game at third base for defensive purposes because they've been committing too many errors. He's been out of this world defensively, and he's hit really well, too. He's come up with some clutch hits. You mentioned Cade Horton. Cade Horton finally got healthy enough to start helping them on the mound, coming off Tommy John. Didn't pitch the first half of the season. They started easing him in about midway through the year. Now you saw what he did on Sunday. He's a starter for them and has been phenomenal. Brett Squires was injured. He got healthy. Kendall Pettis was injured. He got healthy. All these things happened in about a 2-week span, and bam, I mean, they just took off. So it's a really odd team in that instead of there being attrition, where as the year goes along, you lose guys because of injury or transfer or whatever the case may be, they've actually added pieces. It's been like a major league team that added pieces at the deadline as the year went along. And, they went into Omaha anyway completely healthy. Now, they suffered an injury here in Omaha with Brett Squires having a broken finger on a hit by pitch. But that's really the first injury they've had weeks and weeks and weeks. So they've been fortunate. They've been good, but they've been very fortunate as well.
Talking to Toby Rowland, the voice of the Oklahoma Sooners, who await the winner of Ole Miss and Arkansas in the championship series for the opportunity to win the national title. And the other thing that I think has stood out, and obviously the broadcasters have mentioned it a good bit during your games, and that is your starting pitching in Omaha. All of your guys, you've won 3 games, and all of them have gone at least 6 innings. That is such a big deal because, A&M in their game, they use 6 pitchers. You face Notre Dame, and they used 7 pitchers, right? The ability to have one guy come in there and give you quality innings, and you can turn it over to 1 or 2 dudes out of the bullpen, that is such a big deal. And I would imagine, Toby, set y'all up really nicely for when the championship series starts.
Yeah, that's dead on. I think the stat is the Oklahoma starters in 3 games have thrown 19 innings combined, and the opponent's starters in those 3 games threw 5 1/3 innings combined.
Yeah.
The Oklahoma starters so far have a combined 26 strikeouts and 2 walks. It's been otherworldly, really, and probably the worst of the 3 outings came from their ace, Jake Bennett. In game 1, he gave up 3 or 4 runs to A&M, and he was good. He was good. He got the win, but Cade Horton and David Sandlin had the performances of a lifetime in their starts. And now they're going to have to do it again. I mean, they're going to have to, whoever they face here in this championship series, at least 2, if not all 3 of those guys are going to have to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But, boy, you can't ask for more than their pitching has given them so far. It's made it easy on the bullpen. There are 3 or 4 pieces out there that are vital, have been vital pieces for them. Carter Campbell, Carson Atwood, and a couple of other guys who haven't been used yet. They haven't had to pitch in Omaha. So they're rested and raring to go, and we'll see if it helps them or not in the championship.
Well, and the other massive advantage you get is, thanks to Arkansas winning last night, now you watch Arkansas and Ole Miss continue to have to throw more guys and use more guys, and that obviously becomes an advantage. Look, you were getting the day off regardless, but at least you know that Arkansas and Ole Miss, whoever you face, are going to have pitchers who are at least one game more weary than your guys are.
Yeah, and they're throwing their aces today. Both those teams, with the season on the line, went to their aces, Connor Nolan and Dylan DeLucia today, and Oklahoma didn't mind seeing that at all. They might be available to come back on a Monday game, but you'd have to think probably not before that. So that helps. We don't find ourselves cheering for the Razorbacks too often,
right,
in OU land. But there were a lot of Sooner fans that were happy to see Arkansas win that game last night, just to force another game today, just for the reason that you said. Now, I don't know if they're cheering for him today or not, but
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a dream scenario so far.
Yeah.
So far here in Omaha, everything has gone exactly according to how Skip Johnson would have scripted it.
By the way, is it just me, or
not there yet?
Is it just me, or do you and Coach kind of look alike? Don't y'all kind of resemble each other a little bit, don't you? Or am I completely wrong on that?
We're both very much pear-shaped individuals.
Okay,
if that's what you're getting.
Well,
at.
I mean, he kind of, like, when he's wearing a hat, I see the side profile, and I'm like, it kind of looks like Toby a little bit.
I can see that.
Like,
I think he's probably in line for a much better raise than I am.
Well, that's probably true. Also, I've got to imagine, Toby, it's kind of interesting. It's not very often that the baseball team plays somewhat in the shadow of the softball team. And obviously that's the case at Oklahoma. No matter what you do, how good you are, Oklahoma softball arguably just had the greatest season in the history of the sport. So is that kind of an interesting thing? Is most of the time you see the women's sports trying to come out from under the shadow of the men's sports. How interesting has that been that's kind of flipped there?
It's been that way for a few years. Yeah. No, there's no doubt. That's absolutely true. The softball team outdraws the baseball team by thousands. The baseball team frequently gets heckled on the road and sometimes in their own stadium with, thank God you guys didn't send the softball team here to play it. You know what? They get negative recruited on the road by more people go to the softball games than the baseball games, Norman. Why would you want to go play there? I had a man here in Omaha when Oklahoma arrived. I was in the hotel lobby. There was a Sooner fan there. I don't know who he was. And we were just chatting about the team. And he said something to the effect, it's too bad the baseball team doesn't have as good of a shortstop as the softball team has.
Oh, man.
Now, keep in mind, OU's shortstop is Peyton Graham.
Right.
Who's going to be a first-round draft pick in the Major League Draft. He has perhaps had the greatest season in OU baseball history. 20 home runs, 30 stolen bases. It's never been done before. So, no, and rightfully so, they love their softball here in Norman. It's a dynasty, what Patty Gasto has built. And they put together probably the greatest softball season of all time this year. And quite frankly, there's a lot of OU fans who didn't even know the baseball team was having a good season until the softball championship ended, and they looked up and said, look at that. Baseball team's still playing. And so this has come as quite a surprise to a lot of OU fans that the baseball team is here in this position.
All right, let's get out of baseball and let's kind of back up a little bit, because obviously we know Oklahoma and Texas making the move to the SEC. Obviously, those of us here in Louisiana, that's a big deal for us, LSU, all of that. I'm on record as saying I think that it will happen before the 25 deadline when it's supposed to happen, just because I think it's weird. You're going to bring in and go to 16 teams for like a year and then turn around and be back. I feel like it's strange. Now, I don't know if there's any of that in the works. I don't know what you know or don't know about any of that, but just kind of from a large outside perspective, tell us about how it's being received that you're moving to the SEC, what that feels like, kind of where is that going for you guys?
I would say it's been received by the fan base 90% ecstatic.
Okay.
There's about 10% that are, kind of hardline Big 12, Big 8, don't like the fact that the travel is going to be harder. Going to miss some of the rivalries that they've had in this part of the country. But that's a very small percentage. Most of the fan base is ecstatic about road trips to Baton Rouge, Tuscaloosa, Knoxville, the Swamp, all of that. And those fan bases coming to Norman, and how exciting it's going to be to not just see new teams, play new teams, have new road trips, but the caliber of conference that the SEC is, the prestige of the SEC, to get to be a part of that. So I think that's where the vast majority of the fan base is. As for when it's going to happen, I've said all along, I think there is a chance that Oklahoma and Texas go early. And right now, the first football season that they would play in the SEC is 2025.
Right.
If they don't go early. I think there's a chance they would go early, but excuse me, at least from the Oklahoma's perspective, I don't think Oklahoma would do it unless they could do it and it financially be in the black.
Right.
I mean,
well, sure, you don't want to pay a bunch of money just to go.
Yeah, Joe Castiglione doesn't make a habit of throwing money away, and I think they're excited about moving to the SEC, but they're also perfectly fine patiently waiting for that day rather than write an $80 million check for nothing to the Big 12 just so they can leave. That's just my opinion. I mean, Texas has that printing machines of money.
Right.
They can do whatever they want. That's not the case in Oklahoma. They've been pretty fiscally responsible. And so it would be really shocking to me if at least, if they've got to write a check to get out, it isn't counterbalanced more by the check they're going to get by going into the SEC.
No doubt about that.
If that's a year early, maybe that'll happen, but I have a hard time seeing that.
Yeah, it's to me, Toby, it just feels weird to have – you're adding the teams that are coming in, the BYU, Cincinnati, all that stuff, and you rearrange all your schedules for like a year or two, and then you turn around and it's going to be so weird. Like, that's just my thing is it would feel better to me if everyone was like, let's just make a clean break. Y'all come in at the same time we leave. Everyone, we can just do the whole thing at once. But that, again, that's just my personal opinion. And unlike Joe Castiglione, I don't have to write the check.
The Big 12 is very much an awkward family reunion right now. There's a couple of divorced parents, in the same room and all that, all the awkwardness. That's very much the Big 12 meetings are very awkward right now. But at the same time, those are big dollar figures we're talking about. So I think they'll put up with a little bit of awkwardness until it makes sense.
All right, last question for you. I know the coaching staff has turned over a little bit in the last couple of years. Porter Moser coming in, Brent Venables coming in. Just give us an idea of how those guys are doing, how those transitions are going from, long-time established type coaches to some new and fresh blood. Although obviously Venables is a guy you guys already know well, but kind of are those transitions going?
Yeah, it's been quite a year in Norman. A new men's and women's basketball coaches and a new football coach, and the announcement of going to the SEC have all taken place in a 12-month period here. We love Porter Moser. We love Jenny Baranchek. Porter Moser had a great first season. He's really won over the fan base. Very charismatic personality. They just missed the NCAA tournament. They thought they were going to see their name called on Selection Sunday. That didn't happen. Made a big run late at it. But he's off to a roaring start, and Sooner fans have fallen in love with him quickly. And, Brent Venables is one of our own. I mean, he was here for so long with Bob Stoops that there was a lot of talk when Bob left or when was thinking about retiring that Brent would be the next guy when Lincoln got the job, because we've been watching – his success at Clemson from afar,
right,
and loved him when he was here. And again, a very charismatic personality, and has said all the right things, done all the right things since he got the job. Now, he's going to have to win games sooner or later, but so far it's been an A+ start for him. So I think you throw, the move to the SEC, the way the baseball and softball teams are playing, and how much they've enjoyed the hirings or like the hirings of Venables and Moser, Sooner fans are in a pretty happy place right now.
Yeah, you can't. It's not bad to be an OU Sooner. Although I will say, Toby, our resident Alabama guy, texted in and said, "Y'all will be excited going to Tuscaloosa until after the game." In which case, yeah. So you're already getting your first trash talk coming in. So congratulations, welcome to the SEC.
I like it.
Hey.
I like it. He must be talking. Yeah, he must be talking about. I remember the last time we went down there, Oklahoma won. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
next time.
well, you're 1-0 in your last one appearance. Hey, brother, thank you so much for taking some time while you're in Omaha. By the way, the College World Series begins on Saturday, 7 o'clock, and then Sunday at 3, Monday at 7, if necessary game. Oklahoma against either Arkansas or Ole Miss. Toby Rowland, the voice of the Sooners. Brother, thank you so much for taking some time, and good luck to you all this weekend.
You're the man, Patrick. Thanks, man.
All right, Toby Rowland, voice of the Oklahoma Sooners.